Hey guys, so today I'm doing a review for the first book in the Dresden Files, Stormfront by Jim Butcher. So I'm going to start out with a non-spoiler portion and then I will dive into some spoilers at the end, but I will warn you before I do that. This book is placed in Chicago in present day. It has this fantastical element of this idea that anything that has ever been imagined, any story that has ever been told, or legend exists somewhere in this world. That means vampires, werewolves, fairies, pretty much anything you can think of, it exists somewhere, which is really fun and gives Butcher a lot of room to play with, and he does, which is super, super fun. We follow Harry Dresden, who is a wizard for hire. He practices his magic openly and uses it to help solve people's problems for money. He uses his magic to support himself financially and doesn't do a very good job. He's very behind on his bills. He lives in a crappy little apartment. He also works occasional cases for the Chicago PD. Karen Murphy, who is the head of the Special Investigations Department, which is basically the part of the police that investigates crimes that have no reasonable explanation, which usually means it's magic. And so she has hired Harry as a civilian consultant to help her solve those cases. We kick off the story with a super gruesome murder that Harry is now charged with solving, and there are some certain things about the murder that make it a kind of a sticky situation for him, and the complications just keep piling on, and the stakes and pressures for Harry to solve the crime and to figure out who did it gets higher and higher as the story goes on. The prose are very easy to follow. It is very simple language. It's to the point. It's not overly descriptive or flowery, which I enjoy. It's very much, let's get this picture in your head and move forward and dive into the story portion, which is kind of my kind of story. The characters are very distinctive and vivid and well-rounded, especially Harry, which is a good thing since it's from his perspective the whole time. And it's nice to have a character that you can really get on his side, you can really root for and really enjoy reading about. He is competent, he is sympathetic, he is funny, he is really good at getting himself in trouble. That he's a complete wise ass, and I love that when he gets into really sticky situations, when things are really not going his way, it becomes really sarcastic and snarky, which usually makes the situation worse, which is very entertaining. The pacing is very methodical, I would say. It's definitely a murder mystery. There are fast moments, there are action-packed scenes, but it is, for the most part, methodical is how I would put it. The very first time I tried to read this book, I actually got a little bored and stopped reading, which second time around I didn't. I really enjoyed the whole thing. But it does get a little bit slow in parts as you're trying, as you know, he's picking up certain pieces of the puzzle, but for the most part it can grip your attention. Like, it's very entertaining. I would also mention that there is adult content. It's not explicit, but I mean, it's adult fantasy, so just be aware that it deals with adult themes and adult stuff goes down. I love that the book as a whole is a nice balance between serious, dramatic, you know, kind of this really heavy stuff with comedic relief doesn't feel forced. You know, we've got these funny one-liners, this amazing situational comedy that Jim Butcher's really, really good at, to offset that really serious people are dying kind of tone and the high stakes that we get into further into the story that you get. So that's pretty much all I have for the non-spoiler portion, so I'm going to dive into some spoilers now. So if you haven't read the book, then click off this video, go read it, and come on back. Alright, so my favorite part of the book has to be, and if you're a Dresden fan, then this is probably your favorite scene of this book too, would be the Harry and Susan and Toad Demon scene where Susan drinks the love potion and things just get really, really bad for Harry. This is the prime example of Butcher's ability to do really amazing situational comedy. He just piles one complication after another, and everything that could possibly go wrong does, which makes for a scene that keeps you on the edge of your seat and a scene that makes you laugh and go, oh my goodness, this is how could this get any worse? And then it does, every time. I love at the very end when you finally do meet the killer, Victor. He's kind of been this ever-present evil villain that's kind of ever hovering over this ever-present threat, and when he's finally given a face, he's so easy to hate, and I love a good villain that's easy to hate. He's not sympathetic, he's not particularly competent in comparison to some other villains. He is just this garbage human that you just hate his guts, and when he's finally taken down, it's so satisfying. So I really liked that about it. But gosh, like, when you find out about all the things that he's done to his family and like get Monica Sells' story, it's honestly heart-wrenching, which I didn't feel that way as much the first time around that I read it, but this time, like, I don't know, like, that scene was just heart-wrenching, and it's really good that we get some of that comedic relief, because it got really dark there for a second, which is great about these books, is they do get dark, but they always lift you back up with some of that breath of fresh air of Harry's wise-assness, if that's a word. And that's pretty much all I've got for you guys today. If you read it, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it. And if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time.